All right, you guys, I'm so excited. We are here with Daniel McKenna, aka the Irish Yank. Daniel, welcome to Seeing Other People.
Thanks very much. Thanks for having me. Pleasure to be here.
This has been like a conversation in the works for a long time. We have a mutual friend who was like, Alana, you have to have Daniel on the podcast. Like, you got to do it. He's the man. He's the real deal. Like, he'd be such a great guest. And I'm like, okay. So here we are. But as I've followed you and gotten to know you, I'm so impressed by everything you do and just how much like goodness you put out into the world.
Appreciate that.
And I really am honored to have you.
Thank you very much. No, I appreciate it. Delighted to be here.
Yeah. Can you give the Seeing Other People family a little bit of a deeper intro into who you are?
Sure, absolutely. Daniel McKenna, or Irish Yank, as most people know me on social media.
What did that come from?
That was very organic in 2019 when I was training in the gym in Chelsea. My Instagram handle was Daniel_Yank, and then when I was coaching, like I was known as the Irish guy, like the Irish coach or whatever. And then one day I changed it to the Irish_Yank, and our marketing at the time was I wrote all of our Instagram, the coaches' names on the blackboard, so I'd be like, all right, follow us all on Instagram, there's all whatever. So it was like I wrote the Irish Yank, and that was it. It just kind of took off.
What is Yank?
Like Yankee, like my nickname is Daniel Yankee. So any of my friends or anybody in Ireland would know me as Daniel Yankee. Daniel McKenna only really came about the last year or so, especially maybe with Peloton or the photography and stuff like that.
Got it.
More very official Daniel McKenna, but most of the boys know me as Yankee or Daniel Yankee.
Okay, well I take back what I said and how.
No, it is. I'm happy. That is my name, so you are not wrong.
It's on your birth certificate.
But that's but no, that's an intro into where that the username came from and my nickname, whatever. But I'm a personal trainer here, or celebrity personal trainer in New York City. I'm the founder or creator of the Irish Yank Society, which is the community that I very lucky to have following me. I created the founder of the Irish Yank Foundation. Very proud moment for me last year. My way to give back. And yeah, I'm the dog dad to Dougal.
Yes, you are.
My 2-year-old Rottweiler. And yeah, just all around, just try to give back, try to be a very positive person and influence as many lives as I can in a positive way.
I love all of that. Why do you think you have that mindset?
It's probably the way I was reared. My mum never really gave me a chance to go the other way. I was very much like, going out there and do that. You can do that, very positive. And she was very good at constructive criticism. It was, if I was coming home from football, and like Irish people were very sarcastic, we kind of tell how it is as well, especially if we know you, and if you're very close to our family, like you get told how it is. But like if we were coming back from a game, let's say, and I'd done very well, like I don't know, MVP of the game, whatever, she would say like, well done, like, but why'd you kick them 3 wide? Like, why did you miss them 3 shots? Like, what was wrong with you?
there.
And I'm like, cheers, mum. Or if the other day, like, if we lost and I was very upset, like, she'd point out, like, fair enough, you just got beat, but like this and this and this was very good, etc. So that, but then also, she's a PE teacher, she's a coach. So I feel like, and I've said this before, that I feel like she was preparing me for this and what I'm doing now from a very young age, that she wasn't even realising it. Because I used to go to work with her like from I was very young, helping coaching and stuff like that, and PE and stuff. So she was kind of getting me ready for this role, I feel like, from a very young age. But she was preparing me, and she'd always had taught me, if you're not going to say anything good, don't fucking saying it at all. And then one of the other things was like that really stuck me was like, when you go into a room, make it a better place for you being there. That was a big one. So she definitely had a big influence on my life and my career, especially, and all that. So shout out to my mum.
I love that.
Anne Yankee.
So I feel like my parents kind of did that in a very similar way with me. Like I was attached to my camera. Like I was never without my camera in my hand from the time of like middle school. Like when my friends and I would hang out, what we would do is like go in the backyard and do photo shoots together.
As in that's where the Polaroids
or make
are
music
from?
videos. So I have my Polaroid wall. My bedroom growing up was actually all covered in Jonas Brothers posters. Let me see if I can pull it. I'm not even kidding. Like head from ceiling to floor. Yeah, like my parents really just let me express my creativity in every single way. And I was making music videos around the house all the time. Amazing. And while I'm not a pop star today, I am still very much, it's just like I was creating content before content creation was a thing. Yeah. And they were so supportive of that and motivating and encouraging. And I always wonder, like, what would I be doing now if that wasn't the case? If they were like, no, like, go do your homework. Yeah. Which I did. Yeah. But I think there's a lot to it, like how we were raised and what our parents like encouraged us to do and how they encouraged us to feel, that I love that it took us both to where we are now.
No, absolutely. Definitely. I think that was another reason, like just with the whole women and empowerment and trying to help more women and stuff, because I was I've a lot of aunts and cousins and female influence in my life and have from a young age, so I feel like it's been preparing me nearly to what I'm doing today.
For sure. So, okay, there's a lot I want to talk to you about in terms of, working with women one-on-one and being in the fitness world. I want to start by potentially either busting or confirming a myth, or maybe it's not a myth, but we've all heard the phrase like couples who work out together stay together, or like fit fam. And I would love to know your thoughts on it. Like, is it true that like a relationship would be better if one person works out and they're looking for somebody else who like loves going to the gym? Or I also hear people who are like, well, I don't work out, so I don't want to date with somebody who goes to the gym 5-6 times a week because we wouldn't be compatible. What are your thoughts on compatibility in relation to fitness?
Well, I think everybody should work out, no matter how much or how little. Every little really does help. And I think it there's so I could sit here and talk all day about it, but there's so many benefits, whether it's mental clarity, even just as one example, stress relief, even if you don't work out together but you go separate times, it gives you your hour away, from each other, so when you come back that you're not just sitting beside each other all the time. I do think that the saying couples that work out together stay together, I would lean more towards yes than no. Personally, I find it very attractive when a woman works out and that looks after herself. It shows a lot of discipline, which then leads over into other real life situations. So I would say more on the yes side.
We're confirming.
And I think from a woman's side, if you're looking for a man or whatever, I feel like it's a great thing that he works out. Like, it's I don't want to say it's a bad thing that they don't work out, like, but at the same time, I can't see why you would say like, oh well, he doesn't work out, I don't really care. Like, I would say like, be better if he worked out, because then he looks after himself, which then he would more than look after you as well. Right. So I think it's not just like, oh, I just went to the gym that worked out. There's so many factors behind the scenes that goes into working out and looking after yourself and fitness in general that transfers into real life situations. And I try to kind of bring that across in any of my workouts or the mentality side of things when I'm working with women or in the classes or the summits or anything like that. So there's definitely so many positives to it. Yeah, for sure.
No, I think that makes a lot of sense. I know, at least for me in my fitness journey, and I've gone through so many phases over the last decade, but I feel like when I do work out, it's something, it didn't start like this, but I'm at a point where it's something that I do for me and like for my mental health and for my physical health, of course, but it does take discipline and effort and like consciously thinking of like getting yourself to go. Yeah, exactly. Consistency. Yeah. It is a hard thing to, if you're not somebody who innately like wants to go to the gym, like it's hard to get yourself there day after day. And so somebody who can do that, I do agree that shows like there are so many other ways that will translate into a relationship of dedication and commitment. Yeah.
And then people, obviously it's February now, January, people are like, oh, new year, new me. And then they go hell for leather and they do it for 2 weeks and then they get too sore or they get fed up or they get embarrassed or they don't see results and they just stop. So it's like you have to keep going for a while, and it's like I try to give examples of it's a long term. Like give yourself, if it's a full year, like give yourself a full year, because then you'll see actual results. You know, you do a couple of bicep curls, yeah, you'll get a pump, like, but by tomorrow it'll not be there. So you have to keep going back and back and back, and that's where the discipline, I would say the hardest thing in the entire world for a human being is discipline.
Yeah.
It's so hard, and that's what using the gym or fitness or program or anything in those lines helps with real life situations of discipline, whether it's not overeating or going to bed on time or reading a book or your job or your relationship. All of that improves if you have discipline, which the biggest benefit of working out gives you discipline. Yeah. So it's like one hand feeds the other.
It's so true. And I've noticed that for myself over the past year as I think like last January, I really started being consistent, and I would challenge myself. Like, it started with like, I want to do 12 workouts this month. And then every month that was my goal, to hit 12. And some months I did more than 12. Some months I didn't. There was one month where I didn't do any, but then the next month I was like, okay, like I can do this. Yeah. And I got back up and started doing it again. And now I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, I actually need to go to a workout class or to the gym, because that is my time to put my phone away and not be staring at my screen. And then, after that, I like want to eat a meal that will make me continue to feel good. Yes. And sometimes I'm like, oh, like I'm so tired from such a great workout. Like, I'm going to go to bed early. Yes. And now I journal. Yeah. Like, it started with trying to go to the gym, and now I journal.
It's mad, isn't it? Yeah. It is unbelievable. And it helps everything. Like, it literally, working out helps everything. And this is where I'm not going to say there's no downside, but like there's so many benefits that completely outweigh the negative side of it. So, and it's completely, I've seen people like go from, I'm just going to use like a zombie of a person to a completely different person in a year because of it. And it just gives you so much more confidence. So then, like, if you're talking whether it's about dating or, you know, if you're looking for a partner or whatever, the sheer confidence it gives you working out and being fit to go to a gym by yourself, figure it out. Like, there's a lot of figuring out if you don't know what you're doing, you know, whether it's asking for help or doing a program and then seeing the consistency and showing up for yourself every day. And as you say, if you work a 9 to 5 or you 8 to 8, as a lot of New Yorkers do, and you have that stress and you need that hour, again, it just completely could change you as a person. And then when you are doing that way, if we go into the whole energy aspect of things, like, you're the one, that's the energy you're putting out, that's the energy you're going to get back. That's the person that will then come up to you, and you'd be surprised, like, you know, that person come up on you in gym and ask, you know, hi, how you doing, what's your name, you know, etc. Like, there's been I've heard a lot of stories like that where people meet in the gym, etc. So there's a high amount of benefits to working out, and that's kind of the encouraging part of just getting started, and I try to bring that across to a lot of clients and people like that. Yeah.
When it comes to getting started, and this is like, it's a conversation I have with people all the time in dating too, or maybe they took a break or they went through a breakup and they want to put themselves back out there, but they're afraid to, or they don't know how to, or they don't know where to start. I feel like that's very similar to when people want to start going to a gym. Like, they feel intimidated. Like, massively. I hear people, I have friends who they were so athletic their entire lives. Like, they played like 3 varsity sports and then they went to college, and now they're in the city and they're so intimidated by like group fitness or the gym, where they're like, well, everyone else like knows exactly what they're doing. And they're like, people are going to laugh at me if I walk in there, like, not in a Lululemon matching set and like not knowing exactly what I'm doing. And I'm like, I'm like, first of all, like, I understand that because I used to feel that way too, but being on the other side of it, that's not the experience. Like, I never think of that. If anything, I feel like I'm judged when I do walk into a class with a matching set. But what advice would you have for someone who wants to get started, either trying to go to fitness classes or to go to a gym, for all the benefits and all the reasons we just talked about, but they're nervous to, or afraid to, or they don't know what they'll do when they get there?
All right. All listeners, listen up. Right here, right now. Any woman, I'm sure the majority of women here, any woman who is thinking about going to the gym and is nervous, thinking, if I go, I'm going to look stupid. Everybody's going to be looking at me. Nobody gives fuck. They're not going to be looking at you. Nobody's going to say anything negative to you. If you walk into a gym and somebody actually does say something negative to you, they are a fucking asshole. Don't worry about them. The other 200 people in the gym are 100%. They're going to, if you, and I said this in another interview before, was I would love nothing more than somebody to come up and ask me for help in the gym, or how do I do this, or can you help me set this up. I will go above and beyond. I do the whole workout with you, no problem. Like
Yeah.
that's, and the community, and let's say people think, oh, the big gym bros or the boys, and like they're the nicest people you'd probably ever meet. Like you go up and ask them for help, they will help you. Like if you go to a gym, they're going to want to encourage you, they're going to welcome you in. And it's a very big misconception. I don't know if it's the movies or whatever, like people have this misconception, oh, everybody's going to be looking at me. Of course, you walk into a gym, people are going to be like, oh, there's another person. Like, they're focusing on most people have earpods in. They don't want to talk to anybody. That's the whole reason people go there, is not to talk to people.
People are terrified to be spoken to.
So it is a massive misconception. And the thing is that, like, I even say them purposely, go in and go up to a gym bro and ask them for help and see what happens. Like, they're going to help you. They're going to want to make you feel welcome. And I always say, like, if anybody says anything negative to you, you have to think of the negative space that they're in themselves. They're just taking it out on you. So no, the gym is one of the nicest places you can go and friendliest people there is. So if you're afraid of looking silly around, you're not. Nobody cares. And the thing is, if you make a point, as you say, you went 12 times a month or whatever, do that 12 times a month or 3 times a week. Yeah. And you go just even show up. You don't even have to do anything really. Go on the treadmill.
Showing up's the hardest part.
Showing up is the hardest part. Go in, even just go on the treadmill. Find a treadmill you like, do, even if it's the same exercise, just get used to going there. Get used to front desk people, get used to the people that are there. And you'll get into a point where people will remember you, and then they'll be like, oh, how you doing? And you get to know people's names, and then you'll be on first name terms. And then it's next thing, then you're not going to want to miss the gym.
Then you're begging your friends who are afraid of the gym to come with you.
So and I've seen this happen. I know it happens for a fact. So that's what I would say to people who are like, I don't want to go to the gym.
Yeah. No, I love that. I think it's so important. And it's funny what you mentioned about like people meeting at the gym.
Yeah.
I often hear more so like fear around that, like, oh, like a lot of people I know are like, oh, like my gym crush, or there was this really cute guy at the gym, or I saw this guy on an app but he goes to my gym, and people are so afraid to meet somebody and have it not go well, and then like their safe space is no longer. that is now I will say that's one of the tricky points. It's a high risk, high reward situation. High risk, very high reward. Yeah. Oh, I would say that, like, that don't, what is it? Don't shit where you sleep. Don't shit where you eat. Don't shit where you eat. I mean, don't shit where you sleep either. Yeah, that too. Don't shit where you eat. Don't shit where you sleep. This is the thing. I don't think I've ever done it, because I knew that, and because I work in a gym as well. I'm just used to it. But unless you are like 100%. You are ready to actually be with that person, or like have a relationship, because people are like, oh, I just want to go up and chat with them. And unless you're ready to actually fully commit, because that's like, you can ask them out and see how it goes, but if it doesn't work out, then you have to go back to the gym, and they're going to be there. But I would say you still have to be friends. People, like, don't be a creep. Like, go up and just, even just say, how you doing? And walk on. Break the ice, exactly. Compliment the person. Be the first person to do it. It's like seeing an ex. Like, I recently have had to see an ex of mine at a few different wedding-related events for a mutual friend. Lovely. And I'm just like, I just want to be the first to say hi and just like get it over with. Yeah. So there's no elephant in the room. Yeah. It is a high risk, high reward. And that's the thing, like, are you going to the gym to work out, or are you going to the gym to find somebody? Yeah. Because if you're going to the gym to find somebody, then get a membership so you can go to all the different locations. Right, exactly. But like, you'll find that when you go to the gym, it's very much, for yourself. And hey, people might hit on you, and it's up to you whether you want to accept or not. But you probably have to make the grounds clear. Like, if this doesn't work out, we still have to come to the gym again. Yeah, so exactly, for a warning type of thing. 100%. Okay, so you work primarily with women, correct? Yes. Okay. Very much so. I imagine that in spending about an hour at a time, one-on-one, working with a woman, you occasionally hear some dating stories. Yeah, hear some stories here and there, yeah. I would love to hear from your perspective and from what you've kind of observed, like, what, maybe not mistakes, but like, what are you seeing that like maybe women could be doing better at when it comes to dating? Or do you ever hear someone telling you a story and you're like, oh, like, maybe you should have done this differently or this type of thing. Like if I were the guy, here's how I would go about it.
I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I don't really think I've had like complete horror stories or anything like that.
That's
but
good.
One thing that's like, men are very simple creatures. Like we are, like we don't take much. Like we are very simple. Like, but I'd nearly not lean on, but some of the female clients that I've had, they've, for some reason, they can never have a good date. They've no harm, but the guys are just shite. And I'm like, I don't understand how somebody can be a bad date. It's very easy to be a good date, especially a first one. Like the man just, ask questions and then listen, like let the woman do the talking, so you're paying attention. Don't just talk the entire time, not let her have a word. Pay for the meal, make sure she gets home all right. It's very fucking simple. Like, so it's I kind of laugh at some of the horror, like not horror, but like the way they go on a date and they're like, it was terrible. I'm like, how? Like, it's not that hard. But yeah, I think the one thing I would say that on the women's side is like, you don't need to overthink. Like, as every woman does. Like, every woman does. Do you know the meme of the man and the woman in the bed, and she's looking over her shoulder and he's looking the other way, and she's like, he's definitely thinking of other women.
No, I don't. I can picture it.
And then he's just like thinking of something completely random,
like sports,
like who won the World Cup in 1998. Like, no, like we're not, like, we're thinking of the most random bullshit stuff. Like, but I think that the women, like, you don't need to overthink. And one thing I've learned probably over the years is like communication. Like, you have to just you have to say it, and communication is key. And it's great when things are going well. In my own personal experience, like communicating, yes, great, oh, this is great, we're going great, it's great. But when your things are not great, it's very hard to communicate, but that's when you need to. Yeah. But yeah, like the women who I've had before, it's just like, they would ask me something like, what does this mean or whatever, and I might like, well, do you want to go out with him or not? Like,
it means what it says it means.
It's like, that's, like, we usually just ask the straight up question. We don't usually beat around the bush. Mm-hmm. And if they are playing games, then, it's not worth your while.
Right.
So I don't know if that's a very good answer or not, but I think like the biggest thing I've noticed is women obviously overthink a lot. So like we don't, we're thinking what we're thinking, or it's very random. It's one or the other.
No, I think that's a great answer because it's so true, and something that I think like every woman listening to this right now is like, yeah, it'd be nice to overthink less, but what if he doesn't mean what he's saying?
Yeah.
I think we spend so much time trying to give meaning to something and trying to like read between the lines and figure out, okay, but what are they really thinking? Or like, well, they took a little too long to respond. Like, they're not playing that game. They're not. They're either actually being pretty straightforward of if they're interested in you or not.
Yeah, I think that a real man, like, I've done a lot of work this last year or two, and like somebody who is, even secure in himself and like has a lot going on and is single, like, oh, why isn't he? I mean, he doesn't have time to put up with bullshit. Like, if you're, giving out to him after coming home, maybe an hour late, he didn't want to come home to that. Like, he might have been have to work early, or if he went to the gym after instead of in the morning, so he's home late, I think they'll be giving the man a hard time. Like,
Today's my 3-year anniversary with my fiance. Of like, our first date was 3 years ago today.
Congratulations.
And thank you. He has been working so much lately, and one of his like favorite things to do that he can't do often is go and play basketball.
Yeah.
And his like rec team has a game tonight.
Nice.
So we're not celebrating our anniversary because he has a basketball game. And I'm like, okay, like, you should go play basketball.
Yes.
That's like, I support that.
Yeah.
That's okay. I gave him like a little bit of shit for it.
Yeah.
A tiny bit. I was like, oh, we're not going to do anything. But like, we went out to dinner last night. Like, that's okay.
Yeah, I'm 100% leaning on the side of like, I'm sorry that it's on the same day, but like, we could have dinner last night or tomorrow. Like, if there's a game on, like, it's,
like,
yeah,
I know it's important to him. It doesn't like reflect on how much he cares about me.
No.
Like, he's really busy with work, and this is the day that this happened to be on. And like, we went to dinner last night, and we're gonna spend Saturday together. And like,
there you go.
So I signed up for a class that I love, and we're both
Both win.
Gonna move
It's a
our
win-win.
bodies tonight.
There you go. It's a win-win.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, I agree. Like, just being supportive of the other person's needs, and it goes a long way.
Yeah, and again, if you're lucky enough to be dating, you know, a man who wants to do well, both in his own life, physically, work wise, whatever, he's going to want to look after you because I know of, even myself, like if whoever I'm going out with, like I've said before, like it's either 100% or it's 0. So if you have me, it's you have all of me type of thing, and that's you're not literally you don't need to worry about that anything. Like if you have any doubts at all, you just get rid of them, because if I give you my word, then it's my word. And I feel like if a man is fit to say that and stand by that, then you should have nothing to worry about. That's where like you can relax with the overthinking and stuff like that. But it's, you know, they're hard enough to come by apparently.
Yeah. Well, I think part of it also is we put so much of our past onto someone new.
Yeah.
Where like if someone's been cheated on before, it's really hard to trust somebody new. So it's kind of like, oh, well, this guy, like the last 2 guys did this to me, so like I can't trust this person. But I like what you said about like you give someone your word. It's like they have 100% of you, and the hope is that somebody can trust you until you give them a reason not to.
Yeah, exactly that. Yes, you. That's 100% right.
Yeah, and I think we all go into dating hoping that, or even assuming that the other person's giving us a clean slate.
Yeah.
So we should try and give them a clean slate too.
Yeah. My own personal view is that if I'm going out with somebody and, you know, they say to me like, right, you know, we're going out, like this is official, and I'm like 100%, you go, you know, if you want to go out with the girls, fire away. Like no problem. I've given you 100% trust. You break it, like it's a one and done. Like that's it. There's no coming back. So it's kind of like, and then I have the mindset of like it's your loss. Like that's just my personal opinion. That's, you know, but that's kind of.
I wish everyone could have that.
You know.
Yeah. Do you find that maybe like when you start working with a woman, or it's like someone's first time kind of getting into strength training or really like dedicating time and energy to the gym versus like 3, 6, 9, 12 months later, like do you see a change in their confidence?
100%. Oh, 100%. Yeah. Like if and it takes 3, 6, 9, 12 months to really notice the difference. And usually my clients are a year to 2 year, and this, like the 3 months is really to where you're figuring out all the exercises nearly. So then you're not explaining how to do it. It's more, right, we're doing the exercise, and then you're starting to add programs and adding weight, etc., etc. And then the 9 month, 12 month is like, right, we're really up in the ante here. You can go into maybe a lot more weight, etc. And you'll really notice a difference in strength and fat loss and just tone, or like throughout your body, etc., etc. But then that confidence in itself of being fit to walk into a gym, or you feel good in yourself, you've did a workout, or you know you've hit a new PR or goal, and you're like, one example was a girl was like, she was traveling and she was fit to lift her overhead bag and put it into the overhead cabin, no problem, like piece of cake, you know. And I have another client who's lost 30 pounds in probably 4 months, and like just the confidence is sore. And then people start to notice it, and they're like, oh my god, you look amazing. And then one thing leads into another, and if they are single, then going out, they have so much more confidence in themselves, and they have such a higher standard than maybe in who they're looking for, and they put up with less shit from the person. And I think it's a benefit. Like they're holding a higher standard, not settling for less, and that energy that they're putting out, as I said before, will come back to you. So a higher standard person will come to you. Yeah. So again, the benefits of working out go way outside the gym.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with all of that. I've seen it happen. I've experienced it myself, and it's like thinking that, you know, sometimes we believe like, oh, I'm not capable of being loved, or I'm not good enough for this thing or this type of person. It's the same thing. Like, I'm not strong enough to lift my suitcase over, or I could never be the type of person who can walk into the gym and know what to do. And then you try it and you get physically and mentally stronger.
So good.
And suddenly you're like, oh, wow, I did that thing that I didn't think I could do. I conquered that fear. Wow, maybe I am able to do these things that I told myself I couldn't do before. And the mindset shift.
Mindset's the big one.
Is everything.
Yeah. I was saying you're stronger than you realize.
Yeah.
I was saying for years, and especially with women, and the way that I've explained it before is, let's say I have a brand new man or brand new woman come into the gym. It's easier for me to encourage the woman to lift heavier than it is to get a man to lift lighter because of ego. Not everybody's on the same slate there, but for the majority, it's easier to get a woman to build her up than it is to get a man. I'm not trying to say I'm knocking them down, but like they'd always lift far too heavy too soon,
Right.
etc. Whereas a woman might go to the cardio section or lift like the 5 or 10 pound weights when they could lift the 20 or 30 or 40 pound weights. And what I feel like I've been gifted is encouraging and showing women that they can do that.
Yeah.
You know, and that you're strong and you realize then translates again into real life. And funny, I was saying a more recent one was like, if you can do Bulgarian split squats, you can do fucking anything.
What is a Bulgarian
It's
split?
like a single leg split squat where your foot's up on the bench.
Oh, on the bed. Oh,
If you put your back foot up on the thing on the
like that.
Yeah,
Got it.
yeah, that's a Bulgarian
Okay.
split squat.
This is a pistol squat.
Pistol squat. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's hard as shit too.
I did one recently, but after the one I couldn't.
Congratulations.
I got
You
down.
have to get back up now.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. I'll just be down here.
Yeah,
now.
for the rest of the interview.
But I tried.
Yeah.
I tried.
But Bulgarian split squats are one of the hardest. Like they
How
are.
much weight or like?
Well, you
like,
can fucking start with body weight if you
Yeah.
want, but you get. That's where I feel like a lot of women get very competitive after a while. This is the
Yeah.
other thing. Once they get confident, then they get competitive.
I am so competitive
so
with
then,
myself.
so then they'll start, wanting to lift heavier, which is I've seen this before. So when I was teaching the kettlebell classes in 2020 out in the park, I kept buying heavier and heavier and heavier bells, and it went from a point where the girls like, oh jeez, I can't lift that, to it literally got to a class I had to move everybody back down. I was like, all the girls come away from the heavy ones. We're lifting lighter for more reps
Oh my
today.
God.
They lined up behind all the heaviest bell I had, like 60 kgs, like
Wow.
132 pounds I think it was. And the girls were squatting it and lifting it, no problem. So that's where it went from like 40 pounds to 132 pounds, and they were standing behind it, repping it. But so I know it works.
Yeah.
But I had a girl, or I said it in class recently there on my app. I was like, you girls are, for you girls are going out dating, and the guy doesn't do Bulgarian split squat, just fucking get up and leave. Like, does he even lift, bro? It was obviously joking, but then one of the girls down in Philly, she messaged me and she was on a date, and she asked the guy, do you lift? Like, do you do Bulgarian split squats? And he was like, yeah. And she was like,
Cool.
okay, cool.
Never thought I'd hear that. On the
So
checklist,
that was because when you do that, you understand how hard they are and how good they are. So then it's kind of like respect nearly.
Yeah,
So that was a funny moment.
So I mentioned this to you offline before, but when I posted that you were coming on, oh my God, the DMs that I got, people were so excited. So I have a few listener questions
Yes,
that
absolutely.
came in pretty spontaneously. The first one, and you are very much allowed to decline to comment and plead the fifth, but everyone wants to know, are you single?
Yes, I'm single. Yeah,
Okay.
I am.
So looking for someone who can do Bulgarian split
There
squats.
you go. Wink, wink. Hint, hint.
Okay, we can move on from that one. Someone wanted to know, we were just talking about kettlebells. How did you get into training with kettlebells?
The crew that I had, so I obviously used to be an electrician, and then when I transitioned to fitness, I was very lucky to get into a good gym and a good group of fitness friends, Jason Wesley, Rachel, Ben, Ryan Chow, who then turned into one of my roommates, is one of my best friends, my mentor, and we all did the Strong First kettlebell certification, and I did level 1 and level 2 over the 2 years. So we were just working with bells, and at that stage the kettlebells were really like taking off, and then obviously during COVID, like it just fucking skyrocketed. But I was all certified just before that. Just kind of realize how good they are and how versatile they are and how much you can train, whether it's power, speed, or strength, ultimate strength, pressing, overhead, squatting, lower body, single leg, all that. There's so many benefits to it, but it was really the detail. Like, I feel like there's not as many coaches can really understand the minute details with kettlebells. There's a lot of coaches, like, you know, if I was to say New York City as 100%, you know, 80% of them would be fit to work with a kettlebell. The other 20% would be a much higher level, but then you have like 5% who could, you know, spot a very small detail from across the gym, and that's where I would like to think that I'm pushing up towards that, closer to the 5% of people. But that comes with learning from my mentors with Ryan, Coach Darius, you know, being highly, spending the time and the money getting certified with them. And then obviously, as I've said before, like, you can be an instructor, like a class instructor, and then you can be a personal trainer, so you can teach classes or one-to-one. It's very hard to do both well.
Interesting. Okay.
So somebody can do personal training and teach class, but like, they could be good at it.
Yeah.
But to be excellent at both is I feel very difficult, is very difficult. So I definitely learned a lot, especially during COVID with my classes outside. But I just realised how good they are and how versatile and how much you can benefit the client when done properly, and how many different types of training you can do. So it really was like the crew that I had, and we were all learning and climbing the ladder at the same time. So we all went and did the certification together. Cool. So like, if any trainers or anybody who's learning here, like, yes, if you are by yourself and you go do the certifications to learn, but if you have a crew, it just makes it so much more enjoyable, because you all go, especially if it's a travel, like you fly somewhere to go do it for the weekend and you're staying hotel and all. Like, I think there was like,
it's like camp.
8 or 9 of us went to one weekend and we stayed in a La Quinta up in Boston.
Oh,
it was madness. Like, but yeah, that's probably how I got into working with kettlebells. Yeah,
that's awesome. I'm trying to like them more. What I'm curious what your thoughts are on this. What I struggle with, I've had wrist problems over the years. Like, I had surgery on this wrist. This one was in a cast for 9 weeks last year.
Jesus. What do you got?
I don't know. I have carpal tunnel in both wrists.
Oh, okay.
I had tendonitis in my thumb. Like, a lot of issues. But so for me, with holding a kettlebell, like, I feel like it's so much weight pulling down on my wrist versus a dumbbell where it's like even to the side. So I always struggle a little with that.
It will take time, and I think you'd have to start with a lighter bell maybe, and then like, it is an overtime, and it's, if you think of it like a final red line, you know, if you cross it, that's when pain comes. So you have to, this is trainer talk here now, but you would have to strength train right up to just below the line, and then not go over it, and then each session and each week and each month the line will go up. So then you get stronger, and then eventually it'll go away.
That makes sense. Because I've been like, okay, like, am I just being a baby? Should I push myself more? But like, maybe not.
No. So then there's different, like, you could either, if you're not going up in weight, you can go up in reps or sets or time, and then it'll slowly, it's not just one way, it's like different steps and ladders and stuff.
Yeah, totally. Somebody wanted to know, what was dating like, or how was dating different when you moved to the US versus dating in Ireland?
So much better.
Really? Oh my goodness.
So much better.
In what ways?
But like, Ireland's a small country. Like, there's more people in Manhattan than there is all of Ireland. Like,
it's crazy.
Do you know what I mean? So, and everybody in Ireland knows everybody. Like, it's bananas. How do I say this? There's a lot more to choose from, both in numbers wise, but also ethnicity wise. You know, Ireland, there's Irish people. Yeah. That's kind of it.
That's it.
You know, then, you know, you have a few different ones and stuff, but it's a very small, I'm from the countryside, so like, you know, there's not that, you know, everybody knows everybody again, as I said, but like here you could have, you know, Puerto Rican, South American, Brazilian, you know, Asian, you know, American, and you know, and you kind of want, if you really, really want to go look for it. So there's just a lot more to choose from, and yeah, that's probably just a straight up answer. I think that's probably it. Like.
No, that's a great answer and so true. Did you ever notice any differences in how the women approach dating, or how men approach dating?
I think the women are a lot more direct here.
That's so interesting.
Well,
In a place where women are not direct.
but like maybe because here's I do now. Again, this is why I think of it as right. These are the cards that I've been dealt.
Yeah.
I have an Irish accent. I have red hair. I'm from Ireland, living in New York. It's different for me.
Yeah.
I'm playing with a different hand than Americans. So, like straight up, it's the accent opens a lot of doors. So that's where I feel like I might get a wee bit more directness than compared to your American friend type of thing. So that I think that has a wee bit. But again, people are like, oh well, you have an accent, so it's but I'm like, that's go to Ireland then.
Right.
Go somewhere else then. Like there you go. So so that like that's I think that's a wee bit to do with it.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting because that's actually it's both a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
Because it helps you get your foot in the door with somebody, but you don't want somebody to just like you because you have an accent.
There's that too, yeah.
So
yeah, I don't really put up with much BS either. So
I had a feeling you don't.
No.
Yeah. Well, I realized we pretty much answered the rest of the listener questions in our conversation. It was like, no, it was literally.
What else you got?
It was so organic. It was like how to get to the gym for someone who wants to but is afraid to. Thoughts on people feeling inferior at the gym and feeling like they look stupid. Stuff like that.
Find a gym bro that's like it'll be your friend, like because I'm telling you, the fellas in the gym want to help you, and not in a flirty way. They'll genuinely want to help you.
Yeah.
So you just go up and ask. Like I'm telling you, once you do it once, then like that's it. It's over. It's gonna help.
Yeah,
so.
Totally. I think that's honestly true with everything. It's like do the scary thing once, and then it's not. It could still be scary, but it's a lot less scary.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it won't be scary at all anymore.
Yeah.
It'll be like, oh, that was no big deal. Why did I freak out about
Yeah.
that? Yeah. Well, I have one last question for you, and this is my favorite question to ask every guest.
Yeah.
So, drum roll. What is the best piece of dating advice you've ever received?
Jesus Christ. Wow. What if I didn't get any dating advice? No,
Or have to give.
being communicative, here's the thing. Have you ever dated an Irish male?
I've not.
Do you have many friends that are Irish males?
I do not.
So anybody who's listening and who doesn't have any or doesn't know, Irish males don't talk about feelings. Irish people don't talk about feelings.
Most
even women
males
too
don't talk about
but
feelings.
no, we'll take it to the grave. Like it's we're lock boxes. Like we don't. That's not how we operate. Like that's where they'll be like, what's wrong with you? No, I'm the best. Like you could be literally having the worst day ever.
Yeah.
The walls are on fire around him. Oh, I'm 100%. No bother. I'm the best. So. That's if anybody does is dating an Irish guy. Just so you know, we don't talk about emotions. That's what I mentioned earlier. Like I've done a lot of work this last year or two. I'm definitely a different man now than I was a year or 2 years ago. So trying to be more communicative and in my last relationship, I was actually the more communicative one out of the pair of us, which was a big deal. But what I learned was like it's all well and good being communicative when it's going dandy and everyone's fine and you're happy and it's the honeymoon stage and you're like, oh my God, that's amazing. But when somebody's not feeling great and you have that wee gut feeling and the bit in the throat, and that's when you need to be communicative. And if that's them conversations that fucking suck, you have to have it. So, I truly believe like in my gut, like my guts has never been wrong. And I mean, it's like, people like you knock on the door, it's fucking banging that door down, and from an instant, like if I meet somebody, like it's telling me like straight away, yes, no, maybe here, not even just relationship, yes, but even just as a general person and stuff like that. So my gut's very vocal and I can tell, kind of right away, but it hasn't been wrong yet, and I don't think it's ever going to be wrong. But yeah, just being communicative, I think, is probably one of the big things. I think I'm for some reason, obviously when you're asked a question and you start blanking on it.
Oh, story of my life. I mean, listen, it was the piece of dating advice, not all the dating advice. So you answered it, but no, I think that first of all, that's so powerful that you trust your gut so much and that it has continued to lead you down the right path for you. Like, I think that's awesome and beautiful. And I wish more people could try and listen to
it. Because I think we said this right before we started, like I used to, especially when I come over here, and women are so different, so it was like there was different. I used to think of ticking boxes. So does this girl tick all these boxes here and there? And I've added boxes over the years, or you go out with different women, they add different boxes here and there, and obviously with the way 3 ways I break it down is, right, are you attracted to the person, are they nice, do you get along with them? Like, that's before you even look at the boxes. And then, right, you start seeing them a bit, right? Do they tick the box? Are they clean? Do they cook? Are they cleanliness? Are they fit to get up early, etc., etc.? And then in my last relationship, the girl, she ticked all the boxes and more. Like, it was, I was planning, so it was, I broke up probably 8 months ago or so now, but I was planning on like next year's trips and like Christmas and like a year ahead, which is a big difference to me because I was never like that.
You were really in it.
I was in it, and I said that. I was like, you have 100% of me here, like. And yeah, we ended up breaking up. She was thinking very much like short-sightedness, I feel like, but again, she didn't feel it, so that's her decision, no problem. But here's me thinking way down the line or whatever. But the point was that she ticked all the boxes, and I was like, this is fucking great. But what I realised was you can have all the top boxes ticked, but you mightn't be aligned with each other. And that's something that I've learned, probably more energy wise and universe wise and all that kind of stuff. All that weird stuff people don't like to talk about.
No, but it's important to talk about it. And I think that's so true. And I think we like to think we know exactly what the right person for us is going to look like, sound like, what they're going to do, where they're going to be from. Like, we paint this picture in our heads, and then we meet somebody and we're like, that's it.
Is that what happened with you? Did you just be like, that guy?
Well, for years I thought I knew what I wanted, and I continued to choose people who couldn't have been more wrong for me.
Yeah.
And it was just a recipe for disaster on repeat.
Yeah.
But I think it's really important to consider that we might be wrong. Yeah. We might be looking for the wrong things.
Yeah. I'm like, when you start seeing somebody, I kind of have a thought process is like, you have that bit of maybe like it's a month, 6 weeks before the 2 month mark when you are getting along great, but it's either like, it either goes to the next step or it has to stop, because you will know by then if it's going to the next step, then you're continuing on. There's no reason to not, unless something really big happens that you're like, oh, okay, no, this actually isn't working. But it's kind of like, are we going to continue here, or is it better that we don't? Because that's wasting time then, in my opinion. Like, you don't want to be wasting the person's time or that person wasting my time, etc. So that's just one way that I kind of look at it, is this is a really enjoy this person and this time, but do I want to meet their parents? Right. Do we want to take it to the next step? Are we official type of thing? And I mentioned before, like, I don't post, or at least not yet, I don't post who I'm seeing on my social. My private life is my private life. That's what it's called, private life.
I respect it.
There might be some hints here and there, like, but overall, like, I try to keep it to myself. But yeah, like, I feel like that's what I was asking. Do you see him and you're like, oh, that's my guy there? Like, because I feel like I feel like I'm the type of person that the person would walk into the room and I'm like,
you're like, that's it.
Oh, holy God. Yeah. And then you obviously get to know the person, you're like, oh, this clarifies it. Yeah. Then so I feel like that's gonna happen. I have a very kind of clear view on, and this is where I'm kind of questioning now, because you're out saying that, but I have a very clear view, and I have a lot of points that I feel like it just eliminates, because it is the wasting the time, especially in New York when there's so many people and you have so little time here, like. Yeah. So it's so valuable. So and I've said this before, like, your time is your most important currency. So whoever has my time, this is, again, I'm very much like, you are getting my time. This is very, don't take this for granted. Right, right. So I kind of believe like like my gut, along with knowing what I want, it kind of eliminates it. So I be like, here, I'm sorry, this isn't going to work out, or I'm not going to waste your time. Whereas I feel like the next person I see, I'm like, can I talk to you?
Like, you can waste my time.
Come over here. Well, we'll see. Again, I saying all this like I know what I'm talking about. Or a therapy coach here, but this is just what I've learned over the years, and as a different Irish person living in New York, seeing dating different types of people and even just chatting with people who are kind of been through stuff, or chatting even friends and stuff what they went through, and you kind of just you pick up on it, and you just learned over the years. But New York is some spot like.
It's so funny that you started like New York so much better, because I think one of the biggest questions I get asked is like, I hate dating in New York. Should I move somewhere else to meet someone?
I do think the problem is that there's too many.
Yeah,
that's
too
where
many
it's like
yeah.
you see. There's that meme or their video of like the boys like, oh my god, you're so beautiful, you're amazing, you're the best thing ever. But I'm gonna go here and check this person out.
Right, like
you
they
know,
might
like,
be 1% more beautiful or amazing.
Yeah, and that's 100% accurate. Like that is.
Yeah, it's tough.
But I believe that what's meant for you won't go by you.
I agree.
So that's kind of the mindset that I have.
I love that. And if you go and work out and work on your mental and physical strength, you'll become more confident.
Exactly.
And if somebody ends things with you, you're not going to question, well, what's wrong with me? You're going to be like, okay, like you said, they're lost.
That's it. Yeah. Oh, 100%. And it might suck in the moment, but like you'll realize,
Yeah.
like it is, and I believe it is that simple. Like if the person isn't with you or doesn't want to be with you,
Why would you want to be with them?
get the fuck out of here then. Stop wasting my time on.
You deserve more.
You know, and that really is, and that's kind of where I'm just like, the person that I meet I feel like it's just going to be straight up, okay, like both of us are going to be like, you have 100% of me type of thing.
Yeah.
Isn't that right?
I think Barkley wants to be that person
what's
for
up,
you.
Barkley? How are we doing?
He just climbed on his lap and is
Climbed on my
kissing him.
lap. What's up, buddy?
Hey,
You
bud.
smell my dog, do you?
Barky, do you have anything to say?
I'm gonna go home and Dougal's gonna be like,
Who were you
were you
with?
talking to? Who's sitting on your lap, huh?
It's Barkley.
You're some pup.
Well, this has been so special and incredible. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for
Where
having
can
me.
everybody find you? Are you accepting new clients? Where can they get the app? Tell us everything.
Yeah, so if you want to work out with me, I have my own app, irishyank.app. My Instagram is at the Irish Yank. There's only one. And all the links are in the bios. My app is www.irishyank.app. I provide classes, so if you are somebody who works out at home here, you can work out with me. I do provide gym workouts, so if you're going to the gym and you don't know what to do, I literally tell you what to do, when to do it, how many reps to do it, when to rest, how long to rest for. I just spell out. You don't even have to think. You just look at the phone, do it, and get in, fuck shit up, and leave.
Go do it.
Like that's it. It's so simple. And again, 99% of it is women, so it's tailored nearly to women to a point. All the guys, this thing, and the guys are like, oh, you don't train any guys. I'm like, you can do the same workout, just lift heavier. It's you're both of you gonna get benefit here. But yes, find me on Instagram. My app as well is there. I'm trying to think what else. My photography's DMCK Photography. The Irish Yank Foundation, if anyone wants to find out more about donating and stuff like that there. So look at this brute with the belly up.
Barkley's ready to go to sleep.
Yeah, but thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure chatting with you, and I hope everybody enjoys it.
There's no way that people aren't. Guys, send this to a friend. Please follow the Irish Yank. I'll have everything in the show notes. But yeah, this has been incredible. I haven't used your app, and I've been looking for something to do for at home, where like I got into a phase where I have been doing so many classes that now when I go to the gym and I don't go to a class, I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So this is perfect.
There you go.
For that, and for like when I travel and don't have a gym to go to.
Exactly. So. It's like I've had people who travel a lot for it, so all the workouts are there, and it's for like, you can travel and do it all at gyms. You are loving life. This dog is just
Barkley's
class.
Switching back and forth between us.
He doesn't know what's going on.
I'm gonna cuddle with you for a minute, and then I'm gonna cuddle with you.
Yeah. And my dog is in all the workout videos too in the classes. Dougal, he's in every class.
I see him on Instagram a lot. I love it.
Thanks for licking your balls here in front of me, buddy.
Yay! On that note. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Send this to a friend. Follow Daniel, and we will talk to you next time.